Hey guys, welcome to Clockwork Noodles for another breakdown of the Apothecary Diaries episode number 22. Apologies for the delay. I had my birthday. I flew into the country earlier this morning and I've got straight onto my videos. A solo leveling one went out earlier. I took a break and now I'm back on your video. So I have my thoughts, my theories. I've gathered a few bits and pieces together. So hopefully you can join me for my first video back. This week we are also going to have my overview for spring. I'm going to dig out Iona, get her working, and we're going to go through the stuff that I'm interested in, stuff that has caught my attention, what's breaking down on the channel. So I've got 3 videos for next season, and what am I watching in my spare time. So I can't wait to get into the next season. It's weird, the season is coming to an end. That also means this show is coming to an end. It's been a mainstay on the channel for nearly 6 months now, so it's going to be really sad to lose the show. It's always sad to see a long stay go. I think I had the same thing with To Your Eternity. Once it went, it was quite sad to not be tuning in weekly to see the same faces, the same names coming up in the comment sections. I am going to be very sad when this one does end. I really hope we do get some news on any sequels or even just OVAs I could expect perhaps. Would be fantastic to know if we are going to get more of the series because this series has been so good. Let's just get straight to it. Now, I do think personally Mao Mao is the best babysitter and she is absolutely hilarious. That I'm not going to draw a flower, I'm going to draw a poisonous mushroom. That's all I really would have expected of her, but it's such a good drawing. It's very nice of her to be babysitting, but also the confirmation that there's going to be a second baby in the palace. Maybe we're finally going to get a boy. Maybe the emperor is finally going to have a successor. I don't know how that would work. If she has a baby and it is a boy, I know he's got a dowager. So they have a dowager who is like the main bae. Other concubines, I guess, are there in case he doesn't have a boy. Dependent on who gives birth to the boy, I don't think it even has to be the dowager. That boy is then next in line for the throne. It would be interesting to see if they would go into the ins and outs of the succession, how it actually works. We do see how quickly time is going by in the show. 2 months have already gone past really, really fast. And I sometimes can't get my head around how long Mao Mao has actually been in the palace now. Blue roses, as Jinshi says, they don't exist. Well, he's not wrong. Blue roses do exist, however, it's more a gimmick. It's a scientific thing. I mentioned it a few times now when it comes to the OP with Larkin in front of them, as they seem to be his thing. I don't particularly know why. It does seem that he might have had something to do with growing them in the first place. Maybe he's feeling bad that he hasn't grown any for a while, but it would be the same method that he's doing because they don't actually exist without genetic modifications in the nowadays. Nowadays, you can probably do it so they're genetically modified. However, if you are to buy some cheap roses you see in a flower shop for, I don't know, somebody. I've done this before. I've bought somebody coloured blue roses before. They come with a warning. They do say, keep away from your white things, keep away from fabrics and surfaces because they will stain because you'll see the water go a funny colour. They essentially drip it out again. Great to see them actually mention it in a show. And of course, I predicted what they were going to do because I was even saying in my head, just get some white ones, dye them for a bit. You can put on a facade for just even that one day of the garden party. Larkin now seems to be taken to hanging out in his favourite spot in the entire palace. That is Jinshi's office. He seems to be trying to poke Jinshi down the right plot path at points. That seems to be his role right now. He seems to be trying to gear people into moving them. I think that's fascinating because later we do see everybody to Larkin is nothing more than a ghost stone. And yes, I will make sure I say go this time round. I have a habit of going go, shogi, go, shogi. And I even asked for the correct one and you guys said go and then I went shogi and I was like, wait, why? I have shogi on the brain because I like March Comes In Like a Lion. That is a fantastic show. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. It's all about shogi and that one gets really emotional. Such a good show. I really do think that should have another season at some point. But he sees everybody as pawns, as game pieces. So it's no wonder he's trying to push Jinshi into doing what he wants, doing his bidding, doing, oh, you should get some blue roses in. Ha, 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 nudge, nudge, wink, wink, because it's what he wants. He's trying to move people to do what he wants. Now, the idea of a hallucinogenic party is completely different from what we get, but you can definitely see Mao Mao getting behind that if they ever were to ask an hallucinogenic party, which would definitely end in shenanigans. I was really shocked that she actually accepts Larkin's quest to create them because she doesn't like him, but it seems that she's taken it on to try and spite him. Like, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it to my game. I'm going to have some conditions. She seems to have done it. And then obviously she shows Emperor even before anybody else sees it. It's not a gimmick for the Emperor, it's a gimmick for somebody else. She kind of lures him in and I think it's very clever at the end with the Larkin actually seeing her with a face. There's a lot going on here, which is just really cool. And again, the show's being super subtle about it. But if you know where to look, there's a lot going on, even in the subtext, which is really clever. The greenhouse, again, a use of a item that came up in episode number 1, I believe. Very clever. Do like a good old bit of Chekhov's gun. If you were watching my 86 breakdowns, you'll know that Chekhov's gun is where you will show a gun and at some point in the show it has to fire because you've shown that gun. You don't just show things for the sake of showing them. The fact that we had the sauna, I think it was a sauna in the first one, to help her clear her chest. We're using it again, which is just a use of a plot point from earlier, which I always like. And again, the show is interconnected. It shows that they're not just ditching things by the wayside, forgetting that it's there. So I love the fact that she has to go to the Crystal Palace. Also seeing, I think her name is Xiao Lan. Could be wrong pronunciation wise. It's been a while since we saw her and she is absolutely adorable. I love her to pieces and I love the way that she cares about Mao Mao. The hug at the end where Mao Mao just kind of sleeps out as well and she's asking her if she's okay, like Mao Mao. That was super cute. It's nice to see her back because I was really worried that we wouldn't see her again, but she's the first person in the palace that Mao Mao made friends with and I love her, so I really hope we do get to see her do more because I felt really happy that they got buns and they were being treated. And as she says, I get to, don't go to work and do this, but I also get treated with food. And I like her because she's a good person. So I'm very happy that she gets to also experience a bit of luxury while she's helping Mao Mao with the Rose project. But poor Mao Mao always seems to be roped into the lengthiest challenges that ends up depriving her of sleep. She looks awful this week. I'm almost thankful that she's not requested at the garden party because no doubt she'd be doing food poison testing. She does not look up to it. Even with a bit of makeup, she'd probably be struggling to move around and you could tell when somebody's really, really tired. She lives up to the challenge and she's able to produce some of the buds. With a few days, even putting these in a glass for a few days, they will eventually flower anyway as long as you keep that dye there. But I did note that Larkin doesn't really react to seeing them. He's just like, oh, that's annoying. She's actually managed to take on the challenge because it clearly takes a lot of care and effort to cultivate these things. He was expecting her to fail, but she doesn't. So I think he finds it as an annoyance that she's actually managed to live up to the task. I did think that him unexpectedly turning around to wipe his hands on the guy in front was absolutely hilarious. Didn't expect it, but then starting to get the idea that everybody around him is just a tool. So he just saw somebody there to wipe his hands on because you're there for me. He's an interesting character and we also get to see him playing as a strategist this week because that's his role in the army. Whenever we say strategist, I always think Zhuge Liang from Dynasty Warriors or the Warring State Kingdom when it comes from China. I know China is not this show and this show isn't China, but they are taking bits and pieces from it. The idea of a strategist still remains the same. Zhuge Liang is one of the ones I remember because of how good he was, renowned for his strategy. He was insane with his battle plans, and you do see that very similar with Larkin as his, I can win a battle if I just put a few people in a certain place. So you see how strategic his mind is. No wonder he's into his Go, because it's a game that requires thinking ahead, thinking 4 steps ahead, thinking 5 steps ahead. I know that some people who play chess, they can basically win in like 2 strokes because they see all the moves. I could never be like that. I did try to join a chess club way back and I was okay, but I just didn't understand the game enough. I can't really think ahead because it's predicting what somebody's going to do, and people to me are just unpredictable. So it's a game I'm not very good at. But I do believe as well when Mao says it would look better if it was red on my fingernails. I completely agree. I think red would be her colour. Red is really striking on Mao Mao. We've seen it a few times. But obviously she's trying to keep that lower, gentler colour on her fingers because she's trying to trigger somebody. And it definitely seems to work because as we see with Larkin's world, everybody around him is just a pawn. He doesn't even see their faces. He just sees them as white or black, or some people have writing on them depending on who they are in their ranks, but he doesn't see people. Mao Mao essentially plays him to trigger him with the same colour nails as her mother does, and obviously this works because he does actually look up, and Mao Mao doesn't have a white stone on her head. She's Mao Mao, and because she looks very similar to the woman he's trying to buy, it's no wonder that he sees her as her and not actually as a pawn, because at this point you can't use Mao Mao. She's not really of use to you. I don't think she wants to be a pawn in your game. So I like the fact that she actually doesn't have the stone as the head. I did wonder if Larkin perhaps also has a slight colour stigmatism in his eyes, because he says today the red's coming on a bit too strong. Everybody's reds are so vivid. So there's an imbalance. I'm guessing that's also why he has a monocle, that it might be something slightly out with his eyes. And it's fascinating to see that that's also why he maybe preferred the gentler colour on the fingernails because it wasn't so sharp in his eyes. Fascinating, we're learning about the guy very slowly. We do only have 2 episodes though, so I don't understand how it's going to end or what big shocking thing you're going to end us on, because I do think the show is going to do that. I think for an impact, the show is going to be like, ha, here's this big reveal. And that's it. It's going to cut and that's it. You're going to be wondering, is there going to be a season 2? Are they going to announce it? And if there is a season 2, I am most certainly breaking it down on this channel. I just hope we don't have too long to wait, but I can wait. I don't want anybody overworking their animators. I can wait for this. I just got to mull it over and sit and think about what the story's trying to show us. Thank you guys so much. I will say as well, on a side note, the music this week was absolutely amazing, and I really liked the piece during, I think her name's Lolan, her entry to the court and the bit where Jinshi brings in the flowers. Really nice piece of music. It really felt like Kevin Penkin at his fullest. He is so good at creating a mood, a vibe, and a world, and he's definitely capturing those more exotic instruments within his work that really send you somewhere completely different in your mind, somewhere beyond the fantasy, within the page of this manga and light novel that this show really is based upon. Thank you guys so much. I really hope you can forgive me for the slight delay. I had to get back and the flight was a long one, so I am back now. But next week will be on target. I have no plans for the rest of the month, so you are now on target for the end of the show. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you're looking after yourselves. I will see you guys again soon in the next video. Bye guys.